Hello, faith leaders, and welcome to Breaktime. Today's proverb is 31:3. Now remember, this is King Lemuel getting words of advice and utterances from his mother who taught him these truths. But this is 3. Do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. Don't spend your strength on women. And here I'm a woman going to stand before you and say, don't spend your strength on me, or don't spend your strength on us. That sounds kind of foolish. But I believe what she's saying is that you can spend so much of your emotional energy and time trying to please some women that it can never happen. Instead of loving them and letting them be the individuals that they are, I think sometimes so much energy and time can be spent on trying to change them instead of walking beside them, speaking from a woman. So don't spend your strength doing that. Don't spend your mental capacity and your emotional capacity trying to change, but spend your emotional capacity trying to lead and trying to influence and trying to love. And so I think that's this is where I see this passage going, because sometimes, and I'm going to say this from my point of view too, sometimes I think men and women can be so intimidated by each other that they can't even find the capacity to work beside one another. Because in the workplace, that's so true. They might be intimidated by one another. They may not understand one another. But isn't it interesting? We don't put them in two separate groups and say, here exist. We put them next to each other and say, here exist, especially in the workplace. And we have to understand one another. And so he's saying, don't spend your emotional energy and time trying to understand, but sit there and respect and love, as scripture says. Sometimes some things that men and women do both lead us to no understanding. There are some things that cannot be understood. And sometimes it's the way women think. Sometimes it's the way men think. But I think she's particularly saying, don't ruin yourself trying to figure it all out. Love people where they are, and this goes for men and women, on the way to where they need to go, instead of trying to force yourself or trying to manipulate the scene, trying to get somebody to change or trying to figure things out. When really, walk beside others with encouraging words, loving words, being filled with the Spirit so much that you're walking there in that place of maybe not understanding everything a woman is saying or doing, but you're going to love her anyway. Boy, what a great word of advice. So I'm not sure it's saying don't spend any energy there, but I think the energy has to be guided. And that guidance is loving them where they are, not always understanding, but loving them anyway, and seeking wisdom into the situation. So my friend, have a blessed day walking beside the opposite sex, no matter where they are, loving them and strengthening them. Have a blessed day.